Hey guys, this is Bharat and we unboxed the Doogee Mix a couple of days back and you guys wanted to know a little bit more about the phone. So in this video, we're going to be checking out the gaming, some benchmarks and some of the other capabilities including the cameras on the Doogee Mix. So let's quickly get started. The Doogee Mix is available in two variants, one with the 4GB of RAM and one with the 6GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. It's the one that you're looking at and it's the one that we have. It also has a Helio P25 octa-core chipset. It can support 4G data as well as voice over LTE. And it does have a 5.5-inch Super AMOLED display. It does run Android 7 out of the box and it costs only $180 or roughly 11 to 12,000 Indian rupees. Now you may be liable to some custom duty if you buy this device and import it to India, and it may vary from person to person. Now, despite all of these interesting hardware features, does the device have what it takes to be a daily driver phone? And can you replace phones in this price bracket, in the 11, 12, even a 15,000 rupee price bracket with a phone which offers you 6GB of RAM and 64GB of onboard storage? We tried to test that and we're checking out the camera, gaming, and even benchmarks on the Doogee Mix. Now to start off, the build quality and design of the phone is pretty interesting. It fits in your hand really well and it has this matte finished edge or bezel that surrounds the main display, which is in fact a pretty nice edge-to-edge display. Even though it's a 1280 by 720p display, it's a 5.5-inch Super AMOLED display, so you get a really good amount of color and really good levels of black and great visibility indoors as well as outdoors because it has ample amounts of brightness. There are certain downsides to the phone, including the fact that the speaker is quite trashy and it doesn't sound good at all. And the device has a 3380 mAh battery that charges over micro USB and takes a fairly long time to fully charge up, and you can spend anywhere from 2 to 2.5, 3 hours on charging this device depending on how low your battery is. Another interesting disappointment for the Doogee Mix is the fact that even though it has two cameras at the back, it only allows you to use one camera at a time, and at this time the other camera has been completely disabled by the company while they're working out some software magic as an update. Once the phone receives that software update is when the second camera will become active. So all the bokeh effects, all the zooming in and zooming out done on the camera are essentially in software and not using the hardware secondary camera. That being said, the rear has a 16 megapixel plus 8 megapixel sensor. Now the 8 megapixel sensor is used to measure depth at the moment and you can't really use that sensor. So it's something like the HTC M9, which was their 1 series phone, which had the same capability where you had dual sensors, but one of them was just to measure depth. They've done the same thing with the Doogee Mix. At the moment, they're saying that they will enable the usage of the dual camera via a software update, but I wouldn't depend on them too much. The main 16 megapixel camera does have an f2 aperture, and if you are in a really good, well-lit condition, you'll find that images from this device are surprisingly good. The 16 megapixel resolution is pretty nice as well, allows you to zoom into your image quite a lot and get your subject right in place. So even if you're not framing right, you can always crop into your image and still get a decent enough shot to be able to share on Facebook or even Instagram, Twitter, etc. Interestingly, at this price, the device also captures 4K video. 4K video is at 30 frames per second, and the device doesn't have any optical image stabilization. So if you have shaky hands, you'll manage to get some shaky video. But despite that, you do get a really high quality video. Surprising again at this price bracket, the kind of video that this device is able to capture. You'll see that it captures the right amount of color and the right amount of light as far as capturing video is concerned. The image is shaky, and that is something that you'll need to deal with. Another good thing about the device is the fingerprint scanner is absolutely accurate and it unlocks the device really quickly. Once you have your fingers registered, you'll find that using the fingerprint scanner is quite easy and satisfying. The device does have 64GB of onboard storage, and you get upwards of 50GB when you first turn on the phone, which is a good enough amount. But if you want more, you can add up to a 128GB micro SD card. Now, the device does have LPDDR4 RAM, but the storage is not the fast storage that you get on smartphones nowadays. So there are some slowdowns and lags here and there, but overall pretty impressive as far as the specifications are concerned. Now, I would call this device a flagship killer's killer because at 12,000 rupees, you're getting decent enough specifications, and then the fact that on benchmarks you get scores of upwards of 60,000 on say Antutu, which is mighty impressive for the kind and price of device this is. Now I managed to remove all the software add-ons that they had installed on this device, making this phone extremely usable and fast and responsive. It does slow down and it did crash on me a couple of times, but for the price, I'm willing to deal with that. As far as phone calls and networks are concerned, the device does manage to make calls and receive calls. I would have liked a louder speaker on the device. The speaker is quite shoddy and it sounds tinny, and that is something that is a big letdown. Now, if you talk about things like gaming, to my surprise, the device manages to play all sorts of games, and with the help of the 6GB of RAM and the Helio P25 chipset, impressively, the device can handle Asphalt 8 at full graphics without any lag and a really good gameplay experience. And can also manage to handle any other high-end game that you would want to throw at it. So things like Grand Theft Auto work really well on the Doogee mix. Another interesting fact about the device is that despite running on full graphics on all of these games, it doesn't heat up at all, and the maximum we reached on the device is about 36 degrees centigrade, which is extremely acceptable for a device that's running a game like Asphalt 8 for a long period of time, or even recording video at 4K. All in all, even though we are surprised with the kind of performance and the capability we are getting from the device, be rest assured that you're not getting things like warranties, and you do get a gimmicky software along with some gimmicky hardware where the dual lens cameras are not really usable at the moment. But as a phone which does offer you a whole lot of specifications and looks unique, and the fact that it looks this fantastic in your hand is really something that's interesting about the Doogee mix, and you might want to check it out. If you guys are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below and you can get the Doogee mix for a really good price. If you like this video, guys, don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get notified each time we upload a new video. There's a giveaway going on in the description below, so make sure you smash that and take part in the giveaway. We're going to have weekly giveaways from now on, so stay tuned for those. This has been Bharat. I'll see you guys in the next one.